YouTube survival mode. That's what I feel like we're dealing with right now. And I bet you no one told you when you signed up to be a YouTube creator that it would be this wild, crazy roller coaster ride that we're on. I can tell you, well, from being on YouTube for over 17 plus years and building multiple 6 and 7 figure brands, yeah, it's a wild ride. And the algorithm's always changing. And recently, I actually did a video the other day where I talked about the mistake that I made. And you would think after 17 years, I wouldn't have made this mistake. But I really didn't know that the algorithm had shifted that much and it was so unpredictable. And so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to share with you my survival plan. And the one that I'm going to be using, there's 3 areas that I'm going to be focusing on. And I did touch on that in that video, and I'll link that up in the description. But I wanted to really kind of just walk you through what that survival plan looks like for me right now and what I'm testing. So the first thing that I'm going to be focusing on, I'm calling this like the broad reset. And that is where I was taking a title and I was getting very, very precise on who I wanted to reach. And what happened here is the algorithm seemed to narrow down my audience when I would have just thought it would have actually shown it to a specific audience and it would have been better. But that actually kind of hurt. So now what I'm doing, and this is important, is when I'm choosing my titles, which are really, really important, by the way, but the title is going to not be so narrow. And so what I mean by that is I'm not going to be putting something in there like over 50, let's say. I'm not going to do that for right now because I need to reset the algorithm and say, hey, there's no parameters here. If you think that a 50-year-old is going to like this video, show it to them. But I do not want to send the signal to the algorithm to only show it to that demographic. Because, I mean, let's face it, there's people that are 30 years old that would probably benefit from that. So that's the number one thing is I'm going to do a broad reset. That's what I'm calling it. And I am going to be choosing titles that are going to be, and topics that are going to be not so specific, but specific enough. Now, let me just kind of go back to the title though, really, really quick, because there's actually a metric that we can look at to see if the title is doing its job. And I'll share that in the second thing that I'm going to be working on. But I just really want to emphasize that the title still does a lot of the heavy lifting. So it can help us and it can hurt us. And in this case, the mistake that I made, which I shared in the last video, kind of hurt me, So we're going to reset the algorithm by having a title that speaks a little bit more broadly than I was doing before. So the title, still really, really important. And that is something that I am still focusing on. And actually, I'm using the same style hooks that really grab the attention of the viewer. So think about the title, it signals the algorithm, but then shows it to your audience. You need that to have a really strong hook. And I've been using Outlier titles for, well, years, but this channel, particularly Live Video School, and that's what's gotten us to where we are right now. And actually, I've been giving out 10 of my top Outlier titles that I still use to this day. If you want a copy of that, just comment hooks down below and I'll send it to you. And I actually put those into a template that I can use myself, but you can have them if you want them. Just go ahead and comment hooks down below and I'll send it to you. So now I mentioned that we are going to be looking at a metric to see how things are performing. And this is step 2 in my little fix here. So we put out the title gets the algorithm to see it. Now we got to actually see, does the algorithm see it? And how do we do that? Well, first off, we have to look and see if we have impressions. That's like number 1, and that's a given. But what I want to do is I want to see, is the algorithm pushing it, or is it just being given to my current audience? And the way that you do this is you go under your traffic sources and you're going to look for browse. Browse is the holy grail. And if you want to know where this is. It's very, very simple. And this is something, again, if you look at this, if you look at the actual browse, you want it to be above 60%. So again, we're looking at the title. Did it give us impressions? And if it did give us impressions, where are they coming from? So we want to look at that, because then that's going to help us know step 3 here in a second that I'll share with you. Are we on the right track? And so I mentioned this in the last video, but I'll mention it here as well. If you want to know how to locate that, I'll walk you through it real quick. If you want to even afterwards pause this, go find it, come back. I'd be curious to see what yours is. So just go into one of your recent videos, and then from there, just click on the analytics, and from the analytics, go to reach. Inside of the reach tab, this is on desktop, scroll down, and that's where you're going to see if it's browse. It might say suggested, it might say YouTube search, it might say channel pages, all of those. I'm looking for browse. If we can see that it's above 60%, then the title is doing its job. And that means that YouTube is giving us a chance and they're pushing the video. Very, very important in the first 24 hours. And if it is, then we can say, okay, step 1, we're doing a good job here. We're resetting the algorithm to see us, right? Makes sense. And like I said, go ahead and pause this video, go find yours, come back here, comment what yours is down below. I'd love to know. Oh, and I should also say that if you're interested in kind of following along with this little experiment that I'm doing, just go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and you'll get notified when I post an update to this little experiment that I'm doing right now. And oh, give the video a little love. Give it a little like, if you would. The algorithm, I think, still likes that, so that would be amazing. All right, now the third part, and this, again, you can see how it kind of builds on itself. The third part is what I'm calling content clusters. So this video right here is part of a content cluster. If you go back and watch the video before this, it's part of this cluster. We're talking about survival mode on YouTube. I'm talking about the algorithm. I'm talking about the metrics. I'm talking about everything that is related to this topic. It's also somewhat of a series, even though I'm not labeling it as a series, because what we're doing here is we are talking about how do we understand the algorithm, how do we make adjustments to the algorithm, and how do we get more views? How do we get more subscribers? How do we understand the analytics? All of that stuff is being done in this content cluster. So the titles to these are going to be somewhat similar. You see, that's how it works. So right here is a real live example of this in action. But like I said earlier, it starts with the title. The title is going to kind of set the stage, right? Then we're going to look at the impressions and the browse. And then from there, if it did okay, because again, we're looking at the analytics, we're going to let the analytics guide us here. If the analytics say good, then we go back to the title and we go, oh, what was it on? What was the topic? But then also, how did it perform? And if it performed well, then we're going to use that title and model it, right? That's all that I did in my little swipe file that I have. It's where those 10 top outlier titles that I told you, I looked at the data and they performed the best. So now I'm just reworking them. And by the way, again, if you want a copy of that, just comment hooks down below and I'll send it to you. So that's basically the 3 steps that I'm going to be using to fix this thing. And I am going to fix it. And if you want to see the video that I recorded of the mistake that I made where I kind of confused the algorithm, I'm going to go ahead and just pop it up over here. You can go ahead and watch that. I give you all the details on that big mistake. Someone that's been on YouTube now for over 17 plus years. Yeah, we all make mistakes. We just learn from them. Watch that video next, and I'll see you there.